Ghana takes delivery of more than 1.2 million doses of Moderna vaccines from the U.S. government.
Finance Ministry makes available 31 million cedis to cover arrears owed school feeding caterers across the country.
Ghana Health Service are unhappy about the abuse of treated mosquito nets by tricycle riders in the Ashanti region.
And fresh fighting reported in Afghanistan's Panjshir Valley, the final pocket of territory which remains out of the hands of the Taliban. Good evening and welcome to News Hour. My name is Jonathan Thompson.
And I am Samuel Lakwoti.
And now for our first story. President Akufo-Addo says the Finance Ministry has released 31 million Ghana cedis to pay arrears owed school feeding caterers in the various regions. The president, who was speaking before the start of his second-day tour of the Western region, admitted that there were initial challenges with insufficient funds, but was hopeful the problem would be addressed following the intervention of the Ministry of Finance. A few days ago, some aggrieved caterers working under the Ghana School Feeding Program threatened to stop cooking for students if the government fails to increase the feeding grant to 3 cedis per head. The caterers said the 1 cedi allocated to children under the program is woefully inadequate and unfair.
Now, construction is officially underway of the 66-kilometer Takwa-Agona-Nkwanta road. The road is a major link between the mineral and agriculture-rich lands in the western and western north regions to the port of Takoradi. When he cut the salt for the project, the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, pledged equal development across the country.
With the collapse of the railways, particularly the Western Rail Line, there was a lot of pressure on the Takwa-Agona-Nkwanta route. This is because it became virtually the only route for transporting bulk cargo such as cocoa, timber, bauxite and manganese. The regular use of the stretch by haulage vehicles contributed to the deterioration of the road, which was reconstructed in 2006. So there was heavy traffic and occasional accidents, necessitating the reconstruction of the road known as the Inter-Regional Route 6, IR6, and the trunk road system of the Ministry of Roads and Highways. The project has been awarded to Gabriel Kuto Rango Consortium at 95 million euros with funding from Dutch Bank AG Frankfurt, and is expected to be completed in 36 months. Roads Minister Mr. Kwesi Amwakwata said funds have already been secured, so the project will not stall. He said the project is in line with government's efforts at providing the requisite infrastructure to open up the country and improve on the ease of doing business.
This road intersects the National Route 1 N1 to neighboring Côte d'Ivoire at Epimanim, making it the shortest way from the central and northern parts of Ghana and Burkina Faso to La Côte d'Ivoire, thereby promoting inter-regional trade.
The chief of Brahabebome in Takwa, Nana Kobina Jan, commended the president for the free SHS and other infrastructure projects across the country, of which Takwa is a beneficiary. He urged the president to ensure the revival of the railways. The president commended the people for keeping faith with his party and assured that all parts of the country will benefit from development projects. He said railway development is a key feature on the government's development agenda.
asomdwe ɛyɛ adwuma wɔ discover FSA my phone mmienu na dechi ɛna arrangement ɛgyina abɔ mu a ɔba bi hyɛ fɛfɛɛfɛ ɛde baako yɛ ase mɔkɔ so yɛ ne saa na mɔkɔ so yɛ ne saa so ɛna bɛhyɛ adwuma a bɛyɛ no so bɛbɛnya mo ho fa so ɛnɛ inspection and landing base minister koraa aba sɛ ɔba bɛka me ho ɛde atumi akɔ akorɛ ɛnam sɛ asomdwe ɛyɛ adwuma wa.
The president was also at this club in the Ahanta West district, where he inspected work on the construction of a fish landing site. At Edeba, he pleaded with the two paramount chiefs to sustain the peace in the area to attract development. He also met chiefs under the Nzema Manli Traditional Council and briefed them on the petroleum project and efforts by government to protect Ghanaians against the coronavirus.
The U.S. government has delivered over 1.2 million doses of Moderna vaccines to Ghana. It is the largest consignment received through the COVID-19 Vaccines Global Access, otherwise known as COVAX initiative. The donation forms part of a $30 million support package to Ghana by the U.S. government since the beginning of the pandemic. GBC News health correspondent Sarah Ofori was at the airport this morning.
The delivery of the vaccines demonstrates the U.S. government's commitment to do all it can to build a world that is safer and more secure against the threats of infectious diseases. It has since delivered over 125 million doses of vaccines to more than 80 countries, including those of sub-Saharan Africa, through the COVID-19 Vaccines Global Access COVAX. UNICEF is the implementing partner for the initiative.
We would like to commend the government of Ghana for their amazing efforts in preventing the spread of the virus in Ghana through the vaccination campaign and other measures that have been taken. We congratulate the Ministry of Health, the Ghana Health Service, for all their efforts. As part of the COVAX facility led by CPI, Gavi and WHO, UNICEF is the implementing partner dealing with the procurement, supply and logistics. So it's a real honor for us today to have brought in these 1.2 million vaccines.
The U.S. Ambassador, Ms. Stephanie Sullivan, says the U.S. government commits to support Ghana address the effects of the pandemic on health, agriculture, and the education sectors, as well as the hard-hit private sector.
Today, the United States is providing more than 1.2 million doses of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine to Ghana through COVAX. 1,229,620 to be exact. The United States government is committed to leading the global response to the COVID-19 pandemic and accelerating global vaccine distribution as the world's largest single donor to COVAX. The United States has already delivered over 125 million doses to more than 80 countries, including 26 million doses in sub-Saharan Africa. Since the beginning of the pandemic, the United States has contributed well over $30 million to Ghana's COVID-19 response, building on decades of partnership in the health sector between the U.S. and Ghanaian governments. Our support aims to address the immediate and medium-term effects of the pandemic on the health, agriculture, and education sectors, as well as to support the hard-hit private sector.
The Moderna is a two-dose vaccine that is administered 28 to 42 days apart after the first administration, although scientists say the longer the interval, the higher the impact. Storage is at -20 degrees Celsius. They were received by the Deputy Ministers for Health and Foreign Affairs, Alhaji Mohammed Aseiseni and Mr. Kweku Aprechum Sapon. Unlike reports of contamination, of the Moderna vaccines in parts of Asia, the Food and Drugs Authority will examine each batch to verify its safety prior to its deployment and administration. The expiration date for the vaccines is January 2022. Sarah for GBC News, Accra.
Now, long-lasting treated mosquito nets meant to prevent mosquitoes are now being used in parts of the Ashanti region by refuse tricycle riders, commonly known as aboboya, to cover their refuse. The Ghana Health Service is worried about the situation ahead of its plan to undertake another free distribution of the insecticide-treated nets in the region.
The last time there was a free mass distribution exercise in the Ashanti region was in 2018, where 589,000 nets were given out in the Kumasi metropolis alone. However, it is the most preferred covering for waste collection agents in parts of the Ashanti region for their waste as they move from house to house en route to the landfill site. The aboboya riders, who are the culprits, say the mosquito nets serve their purpose better than any other protective material.
We
have a lot of the nets. We get it from our customers when we go for the refuse. We have countless new ones that we use every day.
Similarly, scavengers who gather used cans have also adopted the mosquito nets as their preferred packaging material. The Metro Disease Control Officer, Mr. Kingsley Amparchum, was worried about this trend in the metropolis. According to him, the distribution comes as a huge cost to the government and its partners.
If somebody is putting it to wrong use, it is as if we have wasted the resources. But lo and good, only a few people have been doing that. I know majority of our people who take it, put it to right use. And the few ones, we are still educating them. And we do that at the point of giving it out, even at the point of registration, so that people will get to know that it is for our own good that we use the bed nets to protect ourselves from getting mosquito bites, which may lead us into getting malaria.
The use of the long-lasting insecticide-treated mosquito nets is one of the malaria interventions by the National Malaria Control Program, NMCP, to prevent malaria. However, over the years, the net has been misused by many, and this has been the challenge for the control program. The treated mosquito nets prevent about 90% of malaria cases in children and pregnant women. Another free mass distribution is expected to be carried out by the end of the year.
The Center for National Disaster Learning, Distance Learning and Open Schooling, CENDLOS, is in the process of putting together a bill for Cabinet's consideration, the Attorney General's Department and Parliament, to give it legal backing as an agency of the Ministry of Education responsible for infusing ICT into Ghana's education system. Partners in the country's education sector have met in Accra to discuss inputs of the bill.
Formerly known as the President's Special Initiative on Distance Learning, the Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schooling was established in 2002 with a vision to make learning accessible, flexible and affordable to all using modern cutting-edge technology in open, distance and electronic learning. Apart from developing approved educational content for students at the pre-tertiary level online, the center is mandated to harmonize and regulate open and distance learning in Ghana. The center has developed an offline technology designed and deployed for underprivileged students to access educational content without internet connectivity and its associated costs, known as the iBox system. 154 iBox systems have been installed in pre-tertiary schools in some rural areas of the country. For over a decade of its existence, Sendlos has operated without a bill to give it the legal backing to carry out its mandate effectively. According to the Executive Director of Sendlos, Nana Jemfi Adrabo, it has become necessary for the center to operate under an act because of the influx of undesirable educational content circulating online, especially with the spreading coronavirus, where everyone is turning to ICT to keep up with their studies.
Even though we are still working, we have some limitations. Once we have the act, then it will give us a lot of authority. We will be clothed with that authority to do more. For instance, we should be able to regulate online education in the entirety country. Who puts what in this online? We need to be able to regulate.
The Director of Legal at the Ministry of Education, Mrs. Matilda Eria Azuma, said if the bill is passed into law, Sendlos will have the legal backing to crack the whip on offenders of false online educational content.
The memorandum and the bill would enable us to develop a unique form of learning and schooling, which will help address the need of learners through distance learning and open schooling for the growth and development of education in Ghana.
The head of UNESCO in Ghana, Mr. Abdul Rahman Diallo, commended Sendlos for working to support Ghana attain Sustainable Development Goal 4, which aims at ensuring inclusive and equitable quality education and promoting lifelong learning opportunities for all.
The Civil Service Training Center has initiated training programs to help employees perform creditably at work. The Principal Director at the Training Center in Accra, Mrs. Dora Jewadi Etumi, says the refresher training program offers effective warm-up for staff and improve productivity. She was speaking at the end of a 5-day training workshop for administrative officers in Accra.
The 5-day training workshop in administrative writing skills updated participants in modern standards of administration in line with the civil service reform strategy. It was organized by the Greater Accra Regional Minister in partnership with the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council. 30 administrative officers from the Greater Accra Regional Coordinating Council, Korle Klottey Municipal Assembly and the Ayawaso West Municipal Assembly took part in the training. At a graduation ceremony, the Municipal Coordinating Director for Korle Klottey, Mr. Emmanuel Bazy, was hopeful that the training will position the Assembly on top in terms of service delivery. The Principal Director of the Civil Service Training Center, CSTC, Mrs. Dora Etumi, said the center has evolved to deliver leading-edge civil and public service training intended to make the civil service a value-for-money institution.
We are changing our performance culture as a result of the new things that have been injected into the system, and it's been positive. And I know in no time, by the time I realized, the civil service was funding to my paper. Do you understand? Because the performance culture has changed.
The graduates promised to act as agents of change in their respective organizations.
Now, we were optimistic that with this kind of training, we will be able to build our capacities and our confidence when it comes to organizing, planning of activities that we do for the public.
The Civil Service Training Center was established in 1953 as part of the Africanization policy to build the capacity of low and middle level personnel in the civil service. It runs induction courses for all new entrants into the service, organizes promotion courses for lower and middle level officers in the civil service, and tailor-made courses for institutions on request.
The Forestry Division of the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources says it is impressed with the progress of the government's flagship Green Ghana project so far. The sector deputy minister, Mr. Benito Owusu-Bio, and some officials from the Forestry Plantation Development Fund Management Board visited some sites of the project and met with some youth under the Youth in Afforestation program in the Volta and Oti regions.
The visit took the team made up of officials from the Forestry Division of Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, led by the Sector Minister, Dr. Benito Owusu-Bio, and members of the Forest Plantation Development Fund Management Board to Hohoi in the Volta region and Okaja Krom Senior High Technical School in the Oti region. The aim was to inspect progress of work and the state of several forest plantations under the Youth in Afforestation program. At Hohoi, the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of forestry, Benito Owusu-Bio, expressed worry about the rate of erosion, desiltation and other activities that pose a threat to the forest cover. He, however, commended the government for acting in a timely manner to curb the situation.
Everyone who planted a tree must go back at least to have a look at what he or she planted. At least, they are your babies. So take very good care of them. And once you go and then you see that they are doing well, you would be happy and you would, at least you will get some sort of satisfaction out of the work that you did.
The Okaja Krom Senior High Technical School, which is one of the 6 institutions to embrace the project, planted over 30,000 trees on the Green Ghana Day, which was marked on June 11, 2021. The minister and the entourage were impressed with work done so far. Under the government's afforestation initiative, the government provides free seedlings to people from all walks of life, including celebrities, public officials, traditional leaders, the youth and school children, to plant at various places across the country. The initiative, which includes the Youth in Afforestation program, the Green Ghana Project, among others, seeks to protect and restore Ghana's depleting forest cover.
Ghanaians, especially chiefs and traditional rulers, have been commended for endorsing the Green Ghana project and motivating their people to plant trees to protect Ghana's depleting forest cover. The Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of forestry, Mr. Benito Owusu-Bio, made a recommendation at a deba at Hohoi in the Volta region.
While in the Volta region for the inspection of project sites of the Green Ghana and the Youth in Afforestation programs, a deba was organized in honor of the Deputy Minister for Lands and Natural Resources in charge of forestry, Mr. Benito Owusu-Bio, and is entouraged by chiefs and people of Hohoi. The Deputy Minister was accompanied by the Technical Director of Forestry, Mr. Abu Joam, the Chief Planning Officer, Mr. Joseph Osiakwa, and the Administrator of Plantation Development Fund Board, Madam Alberta Isuman, and some officers of the Ministry and the Forest Plantation Development Fund. Mr. Benito also was impressed with the nursing of the seeds for the afforestation program by the forest plantation staff there. He expressed appreciation to the chiefs and traditional leaders for embracing the program. He, however, appealed to the chiefs, queen mothers and opinion leaders to use their respect and influence in their respective areas to get their people to support government development initiatives for a better Ghana. On behalf of the Paramount Chief of Hohoi, the Divisional Chief of B. Atagu, Togbi Adohu, noted that the Green Ghana initiative was timely as it will help save the vegetation cover of the region, which was eroding at an alarming rate.
Now, away from forestry issues, management of Ho Technical University in the Volta region has formally opened a vehicle service center on campus to boost the capacity of the university's mechanical engineering department. The project was born out of a plan to train highly competent human resources through skills training and research. It also falls in line with the university's strategy to align its various departments with industries to promote hands-on training for students and faculty.
The HTC JMTC Vehicle Service Center is well resourced with modern diagnostic equipment and software engineering technology, as well as specialists who will train students and faculty. As part of the partnership agreement, Japan Motors intend to establish an assembly plant at the university in the near future for the benefit of students and faculty. Inaugurating the center, the Vice Chancellor of the Ho Technical University, Professor Ben Honyanuga, thanked the company for its support, saying that it will complement management's effort to transform the university to be the hub of technological and practical education in the country and a reference point for technical, vocational education and training TVET.
This collaboration falls within our strategy to align departments with industry to facilitate technology transfer and promote hands-on practical skills acquisition opportunities for our students and faculty.
The executive director of Japan Motors, Mr. Nyohad Kamoni, said the center will achieve its prime purpose of providing skills training to students. He said the partnership is an opportunity for some students of the university to undertake internship programs with the company.
Now that we have this ongoing collaboration with the assembly plant coming on, obviously we are going to be having some trainings and models are changing. So with this new technical collaboration, Ho Technical University should also be invited, and they will also be taking advantage of all these new technical trainings that we will be having.
As part of the partnership, management of the company presented a pickup vehicle for use by staff at the center.
It is to reduce the drudgery in agriculture and domestic chores of vulnerable women in Nangpanduri in the Bumpurungu Nangpanduri district of the Northeast region that a 71-year-old American woman, Madame Denise Klenduri, is breeding healthy donkeys to serve as donkey carts for them. Madame Klenduri says even though motor kings seem to replace the importance of the donkey carts, there are still women who cannot afford them. Her project is therefore targeting such vulnerable women to support. Peggy Donko reports.
There are over 185 breeds of donkeys in the world today, and nearly 41 million donkeys are used. These beasts of burden are all over the world and are in a variety of shapes, sizes, and colors. Donkeys can survive in hot climates such as tropical dry lands and the savannas. They have very good draft power, disease resistance, and stress-bearing capabilities. In Ghana, donkeys are more in use in the northeastern parts, stretching from some districts in the eastern corner of northern region to the entire upper east region and some areas of upper west and the northeast regions. Donkeys provide cheap and easily accessible means of transport for goods in the rural areas. They are predominantly used to cart agricultural produce from farms to homes and to market centers and farm inputs to farms. Farmers who cannot afford the services of mechanical power for their farm operations rely heavily on donkeys.
We don't have enough money to buy donkey or cows. Some use bulls to carry their quintal, and we don't have them. If you don't have them, you may to contact with those who have them, and then you may be spending money for them before they carry it to the home. And then using the bicycle is very difficult because the bicycle cannot carry a lot.
The Bumpurungu Nangpanduri district experiences a single rainfall pattern, making donkey keeping an important activity to farmers in the districts since they are a cheap means of transport. They are used for supplying water to households is the most important role, whereas carting of goods to markets and farm implements to and from farms, the second, with income generation as the least role. Donkeys roam and graze freely during the dry season, but are roped during the rainy season to graze. It is uncommon to come across carts attached to these donkeys, driven around by both the young and old. At Nangpanduri, a 71-year-old American woman, Denise Klein-Doro is breeding healthy donkeys for women and the handicapped to help them eke out a living. Farming is the main economic activity for majority of women in Ghana's rural north. Yet, most of them lack modern agricultural implements to improve upon their produce. The donkeys therefore serve as the closest form of equipment for plowing and transporting of their farm produce.
Everything you would do where carrying things on your head, now you can just put it in the donkey cart. So especially women who used to fetch firewood and carry, big loads of firewood on their head, if they have donkey cart, they can carry 3 or 4 times as much at one time. And then also, the same thing, at harvest time, people used to spend so much time bringing in the harvest, just carrying the harvest on their heads, If you feed the donkey, that's all you need. You don't have to go out and hire a motor king to go bring your harvest, or you don't have to buy fuel for it or engine oil or buy spare parts.
This donkey breeding project has not been easy.
The difficult thing is the other people let their donkeys roam. And if your donkey is tied, he's at a disadvantage if a strong male donkey comes who isn't tied. So we try to keep our ears open, which, sometimes you don't hear them.
The donkey, or ass, is a domestic member of the horse family, which has been used as a working animal for over 4,000 years. Its lifespan is between 25 and 30 years, with a gestation period of between 11 and 14 months. Donkeys can do a maximum of over 24 kilometers per hour. They appear in ancient paintings as important working animals, carrying heavy loads and providing milk and meat. They were also comfortable to ride, and they could carry people for long distances. This allowed groups of people to move around more freely and spread throughout Africa, Asia, and Europe. Unlike oxen, donkeys could survive on smaller amounts of food, less water, and were faster than traveling on foot. Today, the introduction of mechanical means of transport and power in donkey-rearing communities is gradually replacing donkeys in those areas. Yet, farmers, especially women, who cannot afford the services of mechanical power for their farm operations, still rely heavily on donkeys.
And we still stay with the northern parts of the country. Teachers and pupils of Mirigu Primary School in the Kassina-Nankana West District of the Upper East region now have a borehole provided by World Vision Ghana, a charity organization. The construction of the borehole, including training of committees to ensure the maintenance of the water facility, provision of maintenance toolkits, among others, valued at 27,000 Ghana cedis. It was funded by board members of World Vision Ghana.
World Vision Ghana has over the years provided potable water for hard-to-reach communities in the Kassina-Nankana West District of the Upper East region. It has also supported in the construction of classroom blocks, provision of furniture and bicycles for school pupils. The head of the WASH project for the Kassina-Nankana West District Area Program of World Vision Ghana, Mr. Charles Wamule, said World Vision lives and works with communities to co-create solutions that last.
Due to the peculiar situation of the Mirigu Primary School, the school was chosen to benefit from this intervention.
The board chair of World Vision Ghana, Mrs. Efuagati, said while they recognize government's efforts as increasing access to this precious resource, it is important to note that over 6 million people in Ghana still lack access to safe water, with women and children still traveling long distances in search of non-existent clean water, while many schools and healthcare facilities lack sustainable access to clean water and dignified sanitation.
And it is our prayer that as such projects are undertaken, you do your part to ensure that these projects are maintained. That gives us a lot of confidence to do more.
The paramount chief of Mirugu, Naba Anthony Abisa Anangona Atasige, Mr. Roger Azoya Atasige, said access to clean water, dignified sanitation and appropriate hygiene is fundamental to socio-economic development and the well-being of vulnerable children, their families and communities. A pupil of Mirugu Primary School, Master Francis Asalga, commended World Vision Ghana for the gesture. 1 in 3 people in the world lives in a country with limited access to clean water. It is estimated that by 2030, nearly half the global population could experience water scarcity, with demand outstripping supply by about 40%.
The leadership of the Wutu Breku Traditional Council in the Central Region has expressed regrets over the shooting incident that killed a 9-year-old boy during the festival ritual of their just-ended Eubia Festival. The Paramountcy says it is unfortunate such acts occurred. It called on all citizens to have confidence in the police while investigations into the case is ongoing.
The suspect of the shooting incident was reported to be wielding a gun while following the fetish priest who was performing rituals as part of the annual Awobia festival. The gun, however, went off mistakenly and killed the 9-year-old boy, with 2 others sustaining injuries. The suspect, Henry Opoku, has since been remanded into police custody. A charge of murder has been brought against him at the Ofako Magistrate Court, presided over by His Worship Eric Ohinibenchubosiakon. Henry Opoku is to reappear in court on September 29, 2021. According to the police, the charges brought against the suspect can either be doubled or reduced based on the strength of their investigations. The Jasihini of Bojiase, Nei Kwame Kurebi Opekma VII, who is now the Mairahini of the Awutu Breku Traditional Council in charge of security in the traditional area, said the Traditional Council will enforce the laws on the use of guns in the traditional area while improving community policing.
It is very unfortunate that I think a day or two we experienced an unexpected incident at Awutu which ended up in one person losing his life. But this is not what we expected. And as one of the ways to solve these security issues, the immediate thing that we intended doing is for us to re-establish or reorganize this community watchdog committee in every community so that we will be our neighbors' keepers. But at the end of the day, we need to supplement the effort of the police. The police alone cannot handle our security.
Nei Kwame Kurebi Opekma VII was elevated to the position of the Mairahini of the Awutu Breku Traditional Council at a ceremony during this year's Awobia Festival. He swore the oath of allegiance to the Omahini and leadership of the Awutu Breku Traditional Council, together with other chiefs who were expected to be crowned during next year's Awobia Festival.
Well, we'll continue with our stories from our viewers this month of September. So next in our series on citizen journalism, we feature something from the world of sports. And this report sent in by Anthony Zuga Jr. The first round of the Accra Basketball League has ended successfully. There were 3 divisions in the league game which recorded some exciting moments. Here are highlights from Hood to Hood Basketball.
In the women's division, Misha of the Basketball School Academy team dropped 32 points to win for her team against Ghana Army. Queen of the Reformers women's team also recorded 4 blocks to win with 24 points against Basketball School Academy. In the Division 2 games, Task versus UG gave fans an exciting game, going head-to-head with each other. Nigel of the UG team got the fans cheering hard as he slammed the ball. The match between Reformers and the police team in Division 1 drew a lot of fans to the court. Reformers exhibited some good basketball skills, getting the audience hyped up with their play. Although the game ended in a draw, a win was awarded the Reformers team because the police team refused to play overtime. Away from the Accra Basketball League, the pre-season game of the Tema Basketball League between Nungua Cold Store and Spintex Knights also recorded some exciting moments. One of such which got everyone talking was the steal by Fred from Treasure as he proceeded to slam the ball.
Basketball. Do you love basketball?
No. I have no interest in that.
No interest at all?
No.
Well, would you love me to teach you? On that note, we shall be taking a quick break.
It's GTP,
the name behind authentic and original Ghanaian textile prints,
and West Africa's leading print and textile brand.
Step out in style in any GTP fabric.
Classy, entertaining, elegant, snazzy.
GBC newscasters are cloaked by GTP.
The outfits are designed by Joanna Fashions, Nyaniba Estates, B Vogue and Designs, Kaswa,
and Island Baby Collections, Havana in Accra.
(2006). (2010).
20 seconds to Montari goes for goal! What did I say?
2014.